Everyone, welcome to this wonderful Brainlyne podcast. And today we have our guest, Neda. So Neda will be introducing herself soon, and she will tell us about her experience going from Moroccan and French school to being stuck in Dubai for a little while to actually traveling the world and living some drama in a lot of different places. And
True.
then starting her own interesting project, which I advise you to enroll in.
Thank you.
So we'll get started with some introductions. Do you want to introduce yourself, Neda, to our audience?
Yes, of course. So my name is Neda Benani. I'm now 19-year-old, and I'm an alumni of Think Global School, which is a traveling high school, and you travel to 4 different places a year with international students and an international community. And now from that, I also started my own project, which is related to the school itself and the way we learned. We used to do project-based learning, which is a different type of learning. And I'm sharing this with other people and people that do not have access to it. Other than that, I love figure skating and chocolate. I don't know what else I should say about myself, but yeah.
Nice. Great. So we have heard in this sentence a lot of things, like traveling to 4 countries, studying projects, a lot of things. But let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
So when you were in high school, why did you decide to simply, kind of change the type of high schools, and how did it happen?
I think it was more of the American dream that I had in my head, and especially I would say when I got introduced to it is possible to get into American universities without paying that much. It's not just a dream that you see in movies. And so I was really interested in that, but I was still so young. I was I think 14, and I didn't want to it was too late, not too late, but a long time until I go to university. So I was is there a possibility for me to do it earlier? And I've heard of boarding schools. And so I was just looking into different boarding schools. There's a lot of prestigious ones in the US, but I wanted something a bit more funny, I will say. And I've been looking into I would say most untraditional boarding schools, and I found Think Global School, and it just felt like a dream because you're learning something and at the same time you're traveling with people from all over the world. It just seemed like a dream. And so I was let's try it out. I didn't need any SAT nor TOEFL, no tests. It was just about me and my little poor English at that time, I would say.
Nice. So basically, you wanted something fun and conventional.
Yeah.
And you didn't need an SAT, you didn't need a TOEFL. I know that might sound a lot of fancy exams and words,
True.
but basically, you didn't need anything. You just wanted to go to a high school where you can travel, and with your English and interest, you were able to. How? What was the process like? Did you have to write essays? What did you have to do really? Let's say
Yeah.
I am a Moroccan student in a high school and I want to travel and go to Dubai and a lot of other places. What shall I do? What's the next step?
So first, I think there's this kind of little form that you have to fill about yourself. Some different the basics, who you are and your name, what are your small interests. And from this, you get the access into the application where you get to answer several questions and even make a video about yourself, talking who you are, why do you want to go to this school, why do we have to choose me and not someone else. So it really is more about yourself and who you are. And there's also, of course, you have to send your transcript. And I think apart from that, a small introduction about your activities. And from there's the first interview, because there's several interviews, unfortunately. And I think once you get past this first interview, you're almost there, because there's usually the admission officers that are taking an interview with you. They're asking several questions with your parents first, and asking your parents first, then yourself, without your parents. And because I think the parents are a good and a big part of it, because they're leaving you at such a young age, and they need to see if they're okay with that kind of thing, and to also see their perspective as well. And then from after this first interview, you get part of the second written application, which is a longer essay of for 650 words, as well as the rest of your transcripts from the last 2 years, I think, as well as, a more introduction into going deeper into your activities and what you love, any certificate you got. even you can share with them the tasks that you've done, but it's really totally optional. And then from there, you get into a second interview with the teachers. So that you get to know them, they get to know you. And then there's potentially a third interview if they want to make sure. I got into that third interview and then I got waitlisted actually. And the reason why, because I've talked to the principal after, was that I applied kind of late. Like my application came kind of late, even though I applied way before the deadline. But I noticed that when you apply early, it's totally different when you apply not early, like a regular decision. So I advise also people to like apply early because you get more chances. And
Nice. So that's
yeah.
actually very interesting. It's a lot of processes.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, let's move to the fun part now,
Okay.
right? So let's say, guys, you have done all of these processes and now you want to do the fun part, like what Neda wanted to do in high school. So what is the high school in simple terms? Is it like traveling to different places every time? What is it exactly?
I don't know how to say it in a simple sentence, but I'll say you just travel the world with like a family you're gonna make, with people you didn't even know, and at the same time you get into and learn so many things by doing your own projects. So I think that's kind of the
And you don't have an
sentence.
exam?
No, we don't have exams. We have what we call exit interviews. So every time we finish a project, either student-led or model-led, teacher-led, we have this interview with the professor and we show them. We have criterias, of course, and there is things that define each grade, so A, B, C, D, and it's sometimes it seems like super easy to just get an A, but it is actually hard because if you don't show your process, if you don't met your criteria that you set yourself to, you can get like bad grades. So
But there is no like written exam, right?
no, there's no written exam.
Okay, so if I understood well, you travel with friends and family
Yeah.
with no exam.
Yeah.
And that's your high school, right?
I mean, it seems like it's a dream and it's like
What's the catch?
amazing. What do you mean, what's the catch?
Because a lot of people might be like, okay, why this high school would give me a lot of money or like scholarship for some students, and they would make me travel the world, and then they would not make me take an exam. That would be the dream high school for everyone, right?
Yes, for sure. I feel like
So is there a catch or like not really?
like a catch that makes it like bad.
Yeah, that makes it bad, or like because a lot of people might be like, no, this is not true. This high school doesn't exist.
I mean, I think the catch is that it's really hard to get in. Like it's getting even harder. So they used to take, I would say, 30 people per year from all over the world, and now they're going to be taking even less, like 10 to 15 people. So the hard part is that it's super, super selective, and not everyone gets to dream that. And sometimes traveling the world and is really tough when you're young. You don't have your parents to support you. You're in a totally different, I don't know, set up. You're in a foreign country, like you don't even know this place. You get used to this place, get used to the people as well, and to the new system. So it's a really hard transition. So I would say that's the downside, but
That's the hardest part. But
yeah.
basically, any Moroccan or like students from the MENA region or European or whoever, like it doesn't matter where you are from, you still have that chance to access.
Especially they love Moroccans, I think.
Really?
Yeah, when I was there, we were 5 out of like 60 students, and 5 of us were Moroccans. So they love Moroccans. It's just now that the places are getting less and less. But there is still...
What do they love about Moroccans?
I think it's just because they get along with everyone and they give this kind of high spirit. Like I've noticed we're all like super happy and cheering and like we're here, you know?
Yeah.
And they've never got really any problem with Moroccans, so they just love us, so that's great.
Awesome. So you would recommend any Moroccan students to actually
Yeah.
go travel for 2 years?
Or 3, actually.
Or for 3 years? Oh, so
Yeah.
you went there for 3 years?
No, I went there for 2 years, but you could also apply for 3 years. I was
Nice.
just too old. I couldn't redo the year or anything. But some people do 3 years and they got to go to way more countries, I guess.
Nice. So which countries did you go to?
I went to 3 countries due to COVID, and it was the UAE and Dubai. We went twice, and we went to Mexico and Greece.
Nice. So it's very, very like each time you travel to a different country and you
Yeah.
stay there for...
For 2 months.
Great. And you said COVID. When did COVID catch you? When, where?
I mean, I was still at home. I didn't have COVID, but everything was shut down. And for a whole year, we couldn't travel or anything.
Mm.
So we were all stuck in our room, but it was still really nice. Like you could feel this sense of community that we had through our meetings. Even the professors, we used to have what we call advisory time when
Mm.
it's a professor with like 5 students and we get to do some things. I remember we did an online escape room,
Mm.
which was really fun. They really try to build this kind of community, even though it was online and sometimes tough. And for the whole year, so we were like, I didn't have COVID at that time, thank
Yeah,
God.
no, no. Yeah, sorry. I meant like, where were you when COVID hit?
Yeah, I was just in Morocco.
In Morocco home? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you said you were home, and sometimes a lot of students, they start saying home is their school and other places. But were you not traveling into somewhere? Like, how was the traveling with the post-COVID
So
era?
basically, it was like we had to check, like temperature check every morning and do a lot of COVID tests. Like my nose suffer a lot, but
Did you actually used to do them, or like just act as if you were doing them?
no, they're doing it.
Oh, they were doing it for you?
We're not doing
Okay.
it ourselves, unfortunately. But it was going good until like Morocco shut down the borders around, I think, end of November, beginning of December, and we were still in Dubai at that time. And this is when we got stuck in Dubai because we couldn't come back to Morocco. And it might seem fancy, but really it wasn't at all. It was really a struggle because the school didn't really support us in a way that they didn't give us somewhere to stay because everyone is leaving, even the professors. So my mom's like, I don't know how she did, but she found a friend that was okay with us to stay with them at their house, and they were amazing. It wasn't as horrible as it was. It was, yeah, it was a cool experience, even though it was a struggle.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that you were stuck in Dubai. I don't know if that's like, if that's a really bad thing. So I don't know if was it like in a Lamborghini, in a mansion, where
No,
were you stuck, or like
it was
friend's
just in a
house?
house. It was kind of a fancy house, but
Like a fancy mansion, or?
no, it was like a house, and I had my little room for myself. Like they have like this guest room I got to stay at, and I learned a lot of things because the mom there, she almost like was my second mom for those 2 weeks
Was
I
she
stayed.
Moroccan, or?
She's Moroccan, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and so also the children, they speak Moroccan and stuff. And I got to spend some time with them when they were in the holidays. So we did a lot of cool things. And I went to like buy like fish with her. I learned how to do tagines. I learned a lot of stuff there, even though I felt really, I would say, not depressed, but like kind of not at my place still because it was a lot of stress and trying to figure out where I have to go until the last minute. And yeah, I mean, it seems fancy, but
But it's challenging sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
wherever you go, you can be in Dubai, but it's not really nice. So you can be any fancy place, but it's not always that nice.
Nice. And so the other thing that you said is, you got to do a lot of these activities like learn Tajin and also like travel,
Yeah.
do a lot of things. That's not very typical for a typical high school students anywhere in the world, like literally
Really?
because they need to wake up at 8 and then they study until 4 and then probably they have some supplementary hours from 6 to 8 and then from 8 to 10 they have to do homework. How was your day?
Oh, that's a nice question. We're actually really unconventional. We start work at 10.
10 a.m.
We don't have classes at 8 a.m. because they actually listen to the studies that they see, and they know that like students, they sleep late. And so we wake up at 8 and we have breakfast check max at 8:45. So we all take breakfast all together, and from there we just get ready and then go to our classroom spaces. And at 10 we could have class with professors, or we can just have personal work time when we work on our projects or whatever we have to do. And then we have like a break from 1 to 2, lunch break, and then we finish at 5. At 5 p.m. we do not have any work to do in terms of like we have to do this, it's not class. But then a lot of people stay after and then do some work in terms like homework and stuff like that. And some of the days weren't like that at all when we had excursions day. So I'll take the example when I was in Dubai, we were doing this project on sustainability and architecture, and we went to see some smart cities and sustainable cities in Dubai. and we basically visited the place. We also went to the expo, so it was like all day excursions when we like this was our work. We were learning from the things around us, and I think that's really unconventional, but I love that
So
because
your work was basically to go to the expo, right? Was that the
sometimes,
homework?
but we were actually like taking notes
And
and
taking pictures, right? Both.
yeah, but it doesn't seem like work, but it is, I would say, another way of working. It's like a way of work that you start doing until you stop school in a way. But that's good to have this type of working when you're still young, because then you learn the right way, and you learn like how to think, not what to think. And I think that was their main message.
Nice.
And yeah.
So basically you moved from like a high school here in
Yeah.
Morocco, and then you went to a place where you don't wake up at 8 a.m. anymore, or
I
like
mean,
you don't
I
have,
wake up at 8.
you don't study at 8,
Yeah.
but you have like 8 to 10 your morning breakfast and routine, and then do you go to classes?
Yeah, we have classes from 10 to 1 and from 2 to 5, but it depends. Like, as I said, we have some personal time when we work on what we call our personal projects, or sometimes like we were writing a research paper in our last year, and so you have specific time to do that, or you have class with a professor that tells you and give you a lesson about it, because you need still some theory
Yeah.
before the practice.
Nice. And so when you say practice,
Yeah,
you mean like projects, right?
in a way.
Like some sort of projects. So what is really a project? Like what is practice? What do you mean by practice and projects?
I mean, a project is involving everything, including the theory and the practice. So we have 5 steps in our projects, and the first one is planning. Second one is investigation. Then we have the skills and techniques. Then we have create and refine, and then resolution. Resolution is mostly for like our final reflection of all of it. Planning, it speaks for itself. We're planning the project, when, how, and stuff like that. Investigation is when you learn the theory, and it also is related to the skills and techniques. You learn how to, like, what are the skills that you need, how to learn the skill, and then you learn the skills and these techniques to create and refine your project. Saying, I'm taking back the example of the sustainable architecture. We had to design our own sustainable house in Dubai. I mean, a prototype of it. And so our investigation part was like, where will I put this house? What are the materials that I need? What makes sustainable house sustainable? And taking from those examples that we see in the sustainable cities in the expo, and we learn basically from there. And then after we get all the theory, all the knowledge, we start into the creation part when we prototype. We got a guest speaker, which was an architect there. She was amazing, and she gave us feedback, and then we just keep refining and refining until we start building our own projects. I mean, own designs and prototypes of the house.
Nice. So basically, do you learn all of this from books or from where?
From, I mean, everywhere. You can read books, you can watch videos, you can so it's like the world is your like stream of knowledge. It's like the place you learn. It's not just like the teacher gives you everything, because the teacher himself or herself, they don't know everything. So they're also learning with us sometimes. And I think that's really powerful.
Nice. So basically, they take you. Now we talked a lot about Dubai and fancy
Yeah.
things, specifically how you got stuck, and you're building probably the next Burj Khalifa or some things like that.
Yeah.
But if I understood well, they take the student, they put them in an environment, and then you start learning from the environment, right? What did you learn from Mexico and from other places?
Ooh. From Mexico, we actually did, we had 3 modules, and I took the one about like the cultures and kind of learning about the different and subcultures in Mexico. We went in, like, we were living in Oaxaca, which is not the capital, but there were a lot of, like, I don't know how to say, but indigenous people. And
Yeah.
we were learning from the culture and everything, and we had to do some sort of video of explaining that and showing that to other people. So we're learning how to communicate by like video and stuff, as well as like learning from them. So we did that. And I feel like we also had different modules. We have I don't know, not the modules, but apart from the modules, every term for the 2 months, we have 1 week when we have this kind of excursion week. We
Mm.
call it, if I remember, we call it We Explore. And so we
Mm.
go explore the places around us. And for example, in Dubai, we went to the desert, kinda, and we were
Mm.
learning without, like, living without a phone for like 3 to 4 days, which was kind of hard, but
Okay, so this is where the bad parts are coming through. Is like without a phone for 3 4 days.
but
So yeah,
yeah.
so was that like a requirement everywhere, or simply like
No, it
and
depends on, like, I mean, the requirements to do the We Explore, but it depends on what is We Explore. In
mm,
Mexico, we had three different We Explore. One was scuba diving, one was going into the forest, and they were doing a lot of hiking, and that was, from what I've heard, a horrible We Explore because people fainted, people needed to go to the hospital, people were dying out of cold. I mean, not dying, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
they were struggling. And there was
Mm.
the last one, which they went to the capital and learned about all the city and like their political stuff.
Okay, that's very fascinating and
Yeah.
interesting. So when you did all of that, what were the kind of main things that were very similar to the Moroccan culture? Like for example in Mexico.
In Mexico,
Or is it similar to the Moroccan culture, or like what did it change in you?
I would say I don't see a similarity in Mexico. I mean, the country itself, but I would say when you meet the people, because we also had Mexicans in our school, you see similarities in every person. Like we all had this kind of almost same childhood, but you
Hmm.
don't figure it out until you talk to that person. You learn from them. They have similar sometimes. I mean, they have this kind of not Moroccan vibe, but in a different way. They also have their own vibe, but they have those tall buildings as well as those like kind of like I would say the same buildings as we have here.
Hmm.
And I feel like I've seen more similarities in Dubai than in Mexico. Not in a way that we have, like, we don't have any skyscrapers or anything, but when
No,
you
we have
look,
one, but only one. Yeah.
it's not even open, I guess.
Yeah.
But they have this culture. There's like an Arab culture, and when you
Hmm.
dig into that, it seems really like more similar, and people respect that culture, you know.
Hmm.
So
Nice. And so you said basically you were comparing between Mexico and Dubai.
mhm.
And a lot of parents would be saying, okay, where is it safer, Mexico or Dubai? And how can you go? I mean, probably you are a future leader, so going at 15 or 16 is not a
Yeah.
big deal. But how can a parent or like a student themselves be ensured that safety is not like of a concern?
Yes.
How does the school deal with that?
So basically, every time before or the first day when we arrive there, basically the teachers, we have an app actually, which is called a status app, and we had to give our status where we're at specific times of the day. And
Hmm.
so in that app as well, there's the map, and there is different parts that for some of them there's like the safe zone, so we can go around that zone. There's like the no go zone, and we didn't have that. Like the no go zone didn't exist until Greece because there was this street where there was a lot of problems and like drug dealers and stuff, and we were prohibited to go there. And so they do their own kind of study before they come 2 or 1 week before us. if
Hmm.
if they have never come to that country before, they go even earlier, and basically they kind of do their own map of where you can go, where you cannot go. And
Hmm.
if you go outside of the safe zone, you have to either be several people or have the professor educator with you. So it's really safe. They're like, our safety is their priority
Hmm.
sometimes. I know, I mean, it wasn't my cohort, but the other cohort, because we used to have two cohorts that were going to different
Hmm.
countries at the same time. And they were in Turkey, and there was this bombardment
Hmm.
that happened right next to their hotel.
Hmm.
And thankfully, no one got harmed, but it was really a struggle for everyone because everyone you used to go to that place where
Hmm.
it got like the incident. And so they made sure that everyone was okay. And every time there is an issue, let's say health issue, you go to the hospital. It's like their top priority because you're like, I don't know, but the educators almost become your parents at this
Hmm.
point. Like they care about you a lot.
Nice. So when you mean they become your parents,
Yeah.
are they also strict with you in terms of like, because a lot of people would imagine if you go to Dubai or maybe if you go to, I don't know, New York or Manhattan or
Mm-hmm.
like anywhere, would you just be like partying and having fun, or like do you have like curfew times? For example,
Yeah.
you cannot go after 10 a.m., 10 p.m., or you cannot go to someone else, place, or what are the restrictions really?
Yeah, we have I forget all the names, but we have some rules like they are non-negotiables, and these
Mm.
are like no smoking, no alcohol, no sex, and I think there's one no harassment.
Mm.
And so if you do any of these, you get kicked out of the school. They're really strict into those non-negotiables. Then we have, of course, curfews. So it depends on how safe the place is. Sometimes it's 9, 10 p.m. we had at in Dubai.
Mm.
No, in Dubai. So we have two curfews. The first curfew is to be in the residence, usually at 9 p.m. And then at 10 p.m. we have to be in our beds. So literally
Mm.
the educators come to see us in our beds and we're like, we're here,
Mm-hmm.
and they do that with all the students. And we weren't allowed to get out of the room after that time, and we weren't either allowed to go to other people's room usually, because
Mm.
everyone has their own safe space and stuff like that. So those are like the main rules, I'll say.
So okay, so here are the catches, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So the non-negotiables. So for example, for like anything, alcohol, sex, smoking, harassments, if you do them, you get kicked out. No
yeah.
questions asked.
Yeah.
Did that
Yeah.
ever happen to anyone?
Almost, I would say there was this really weird thing happening when people were saying that he was harassing and really not good with people at all. But then it was really hard to like cut the line between harassing and not harassing, because he was joking, and for some people it was like he was not joking, he was just like insulting them indirectly. And so it was really hard, because at this point they were like, should we kick out one person or several person, like people, because these it was like a really straight line, so it was really hard. But that person first got kicked out of the term, so we were in Dubai, and they got kicked out of Dubai, and they came back in the second term because this decided that it was really complicated in a way. But he was really like, they were really careful, and he was really careful, like the person who got almost kicked out. And before I even came to TGS, there was this, I think 3 or 4 people got kicked out, I think a week before they graduated,
Oh, really? Why?
because
Why did you?
they found them out smoking and drinking alcohol, and so they got kicked out. And it was no mercy, even a week before they graduate.
Yeah. So like the rules are the rules.
Yeah.
If you know them, you gotta respect them and
Or
abide by
else.
them. Yeah. Interesting. And so you talked a lot of things about Dubai and Mexico. What about Greece? Was it like a peaceful country? What
I
happened
think
there?
it was one of my best terms, honestly, because even though I was graduating, it just felt so good. Like I was really good with all my community, and I think most of my best memories are there. Like I would forever remember all the small things that we
What's
used
your
to
best
do.
memory?
My best memory, there's too many actually, but I would say the smallest, just going down and taking breakfast with people. Like in the beginning, I'm just like just woke up, but then seeing their face, and then just enjoying the time eating whatever I have to eat. Or yeah, it's just such a memorable like moment, either with the educators or the students. Like I really enjoy those small moments.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, as you said, like having breakfast with people, the same people every day.
Yeah.
And so it's either hit or miss. You can either be friends with them or a little bit of like drama. Well, was drama part of it? Or like, did you meet your best friends? What happened?
I mean, I will say for me, I was good with everyone, but in different levels. There were people I was really close to for sure, and there are people that I would rarely talk to. But it's not because I hate them or anything. It's just like somehow everyone has their own people. We don't have groups, and we're trying not to have groups, because then it's really detaching the community. And so it's just you're close to some people, and some other people are close to others, and of course you can pass them with those people you're not that close to, and we try to do that as much as we can. And I've organized something like that, which was randomly in the last week of Dubai, randomly taking people to go to different places. We were just like, it was like a little tombola, We were like just taking papers and seeing, oh, you go this place, these four they go to this place, and we were trying our best to not get the people that are usually close to each other, and so people can get
So did you
closer
cheat in
to.
the tombola, or how did
No, no,
it?
no. It was actually good things.
Great. So you said basically that the tombola, you would be taking some random names and you would take them or like ask them to go somewhere. So that's the question: is who would be paying for food in general?
The school is actually really generous. They pay for everything mostly. They gave us, apart from the food, but they gave us a laptop and an iPhone. So like there's no like disparities or differences between the people and their finances, I would say. And they also pay for the food. I mean, they pay for everything outside of the flight that you get to go to that place. So the food, they give us a weekly allowance that we have to learn how to use. I mean, they give us this like you have to spend around $10 per meal or something, but we usually go way out of that, and we learn how to budget, and I think that's something really important, especially when you're young. You have to learn how to budget and to make sure that we're using that money. We are having this Excel sheet when we have to put the dates, the kind of meal, is it a lunch, is it a snack, what we ate exactly, and a receipt of the thing. So they make sure that we did not spend the money, we did not take the money, and we give them back what we have left.
Oh, so actually, if you have something left, you would rather just go buy food than actually
Exactly.
like give it to them. And that's interesting. So they make you like record every single meal. So there is a little bit of no privacy kind of while you are eating. But what's the purpose of it? Is it to check about like, is it from a nutrition perspective? Do they want to make sure that you eat like in a very diversified way? Or is it more for like tracking finances?
It's both actually, because it might not seem like it, but sometimes it's really intense being in that type of school. And so making sure that you eat all the meals that you're supposed to eat, and eating, I would say, healthy, because like sometimes my advisor would be like, you might have eaten too much chocolate this week, try to like reduce that amount, or try to like eat less snacks and more like nutritious foods. And so they will track that, and also they will track the money in terms of finances, because imagine you have no money left, or you have too much money and you don't know like how you used it and stuff like that. So sometimes when we don't know where we left, we lost some receipt, we just take a receipt from someone else and
Oh,
try
really?
to figure it out, because sometimes it's not, we're not always perfect, and if there is some money that is left in the Excel sheet and we don't have that money, we have to get it out of our pocket. So they're kind of strict into that, but it's really good because you learn really how to budget at a young age, which is really good.
Yeah, so that's nice. So basically, they teach you budgeting, they teach you a lot of things to travel. And what was one project that you did and was very meaningful?
For me, it was what we called the mastery project, and it was a whole year long project where you do something and you create something new, and at the same time, like it's all you do everything by yourself. And so my mastery project was about an ice skating choreography that I did in Greece, and it was something like really, really personal, because I was mixing what I've learned in developmental psychology and what I've learned about my identity, and was trying it to show as a choreography in ice skating. And so it was also a lot of organization, because I had to rent the rink, I had to figure out all of this, and to actually perform and train and figure skate. And it was one of my most, I'll say, core memory there, because after presenting and doing my choreography, I got the chance to invite everyone to skate with me after that. And it was really amazing and almost felt like a movie, because it was just like sharing what I love with other people, with what we became my family. So it was amazing.
Nice. So did you have access to ice skating rings all the time? Or like was it part of, let's say,
Yeah.
because I think that you were a pretty skilled ice skater here
Thank
before
you.
going. So how did you maintain that? Did you have the chance to maintain it everywhere, wherever you went? Or like did they budget for that, or was it out of your pocket? How did that happen?
So I was trying my best to keep my level or even upgrade my level, and this is what happened. And the school also gives us $2,000 per year that we can use in our projects. So because it was like a whole year long project, I used some of that money into training and skating lessons. and I tried my best to find a rink there. So in Dubai, there was this big rink in the Dubai Mall, and I used to go there, but it's really hard to train because there's a lot of small kids that you can kick and kill. And so to avoid that, I went to another way farther rink, but like I've tried my best to do that because you can have like it's a lot of money that you can use, and instead I use it for training and learning more and upgrading my skills, and that's what I did. And even for Greece, it was a far away and small rink, but I still did my best and skated there and performed there. And so it was more about my perseverance into I wanna train, I wanna ice skate. And I got even better then, because honestly the professors and the coaches here are pretty bad. They're not even ice skating coaches, they're hockey coaches.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Nice. So basically you travel to each place and then they also give you $2,000 each year, or like
Each year, yeah.
each year for projects that you want to do, and they give you money for food.
Yeah.
And basically they take you out and everything, and you just need to like keep track of all of this. So so after that you decided to come back to Morocco, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the people, they go abroad with ideas, and they go abroad with, they kind of learn a lot of things, and then they come back to do something. So what
Yeah.
is your thing that you are coming back to?
So I would say that after 2 years, even though one was online, but after 2 years of learning that this much, and after traveling, I changed my way of thinking, because before I just wanted to leave Morocco. I hated that place. I wanted to get out of it. It was just too bad. And then when I came back, at least after I graduated, I was like, I have something to give back. Because if I wasn't Moroccan, there's so many like facts that have played into me getting accepted, and I want to give back to my home, to my country. And so I decided to stay in my country and doing what I love still in here. So I went to Akhawain University, and at the same time I created this project. When you learn by doing, you have the same project-based system, and everyone can get access to this and can learn something new or something they're interested in and build their own project through that. So I created my own bigger project where people can make their own projects.
Nice. So basically, as part of your generosity and giving back, you have taken all of what you have learned, and you said, okay, so I got the chance to travel and be stuck in Dubai with $2,000 and travel to different places and do a lot of interesting projects. Now let's help the upcoming youth on how to do projects.
Yes.
Right? So what type of projects do you help people with in general?
So we have 4 different programs. One is about environmental sustainability and trying to make an impact in your community. And 2 are about coding, one about web development, and one about competitive coding. So it's more about creating your own website or being able to do coding competitions and learn all the basics of coding. And there's the last one, which is about entrepreneurship. And we're going to open so many more about different topics and interests. We just want to give people the chance to try things and to upgrade kind of their skills, and have those projects when they can see the process and not just have this mark or this grade or this certificate. It's much more deeper, I would say.
So it's a kind of a gateway for people who have like an interest in a project, but they don't have an outlet. You are the outlet. Basically, you are offering them this chance of saying, hey, you're interested in computer science, but you might not have necessarily the support necessary. We are here to help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. And so how do you envision it 5-10 years? How do you envision the community and things? How do you see yourself in 5-10 years?
With the project specifically, I would say that I see it more as we have online programs, but as well as in-person programs and workshops where people can still learn, I would say, with other people. And I've seen this hopefully still traveling the world and making those in-person programs all over the world, so we can impact not only Moroccans, but like people from all over the world. And I would say in 10 years, I would like to open a school in Morocco where we learn this same way of having this project-based learning, and where people wouldn't care about the exam and more care about the process and learning and improving themselves rather than having those best grades, you know?
Nice. So that's really fascinating. And in 20 years, we get it stretching there.
20
Yeah.
years. Well, I guess opening more schools outside of Morocco and having this whole network
Mm.
of those project-based learning classes, and maybe continuing that. I don't know. I don't know about 20 years, but just expanding, I guess.
Awesome. And so in these international network of schools, is there any plan to accept more Moroccans in general?
Of course, of
Yeah.
course.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much, Neda, for this wonderful podcast. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you.
And please feel free to ask us any questions if you'd like to connect with Neda. We're happy
Yes,
to
of
connect you to
course.
our future entrepreneur and leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, and take care and enjoy your evening or afternoon from wherever you are watching us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.